Chapter 73. The Consequences of One's Own Deeds. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. The young warriors of Yanwu Commandery all knew that Ninth Prince was ranked first on the yellow board before breaking through to the Black Realm. He was stronger than a warrior in the mid-stage of the Black Realm. Now that Ninth Prince had reached the Black Realm, his cultivation must now be on another level. How could Shenmenxai hope to challenge him? As Zhang Yuochen had only become first on the yellow board during the past 2 months, the news had not yet been spread to other commanderies. Shenmenxai naturally did not know his true abilities. Young warriors of Yanwu Commandery had curious smiles on their faces, believing Shenmenxai did not know his own limits. However, no one said anything. Zhang Yuochen stared at Shenmenxai and said, "Since you wish to fight with me, then I agree. However, if you lose, you will not just pay 30,000 silver coins for your defeat, but 100,000 silver coins instead." "Why?" Shenmenxai asked. Zhang Yuochen replied, "You had so much shooting your mouth off earlier. You think you don't need to pay? Never mind 100,000 silver coins. It doesn't matter even if it's 1 million silver coins. You have no chance of defeating me." The genuine qi in Shenmenxai's body began to circulate, flowing along his arm towards his palms. He closed his fingers, forming a knife with his hand, and struck at Zhang Yuochen. Palm knife. A superior class human stage martial technique. It was Shenmenxai's palm knife that had heavily injured Jiang Heng. Just as Shenmenxai's palm knife was about to stab his chest, Zhang Yuochen suddenly struck out with even higher speed. With a flick of his hand, he struck his palm out and hit Shenmenxai on the face. Snap! A well-landed slap on the face. Shenmenxai flew out and turned 360-degree turn in the air, before landing on the ground with a thud. The smiles of the young warriors became frozen. They could not believe their own eyes. Many of them did not even clearly see how Shenmenxai flew out. Zhang Yuochen's strike was too quick. Pushing the ground with 2 hands, Shenmenxai raised his head with difficulty. His mouth was full of blood and the left side of his face began to swell purple and red. His head looked just like a pig's head. Zhang Yuochen's strike earlier was very harsh. It knocked out Shenmenxai's teeth and broke his jaw and cheekbones. At this moment, Shenmenxai could not even speak clearly. The wind whistled through the gaps in his teeth. Liu Chengfeng laughed loudly. "Good hit, Shenmenxai. I told you earlier that you should be aware of your limits. With your training, how could you think of challenging His Majesty Ninth Prince? Now that you've lost, hand over the 100,000 silver coins." I don't have." At this moment, Shenmenxai wanted to cry. He only had 30,000 silver coins in total. How could he hand over 100,000 silver coins? He never thought 16-year-old Zhang Yuochen could be so powerful. Liu Chengfeng's expression darkened after hearing Shenmenxai's words. Walking over, he stepped heavily Shenmenxai's hand, causing him to scream like a slaughtered pig. Liu Chengfeng spoke in a threatening tone. "The 4th son of a 7th-class family, the Shen family, can't even hand over 100,000 silver coins? Do you think I'm stupid?" Before you and His Majesty Ninth Prince dueled, you had personally promised the money. Are you going back on your words? Elder Xi, Elder Situ, both of you heard him earlier. Elder Situ looked uncomfortable. He did not expect Zhang Yuochen to be so strong. He only used 1 strike to send Shenmenxai flying. Shenmenxai was too useless. Elder Xi was delighted. Zhang Yuochen rose in his esteem. But his expression was severe as he said, "I'm a witness to this matter. It's only natural to repay the money you owe." Liu Chengfeng's foot remained on Shenmenxai's hand. He smiled. "Did you hear? It's perfectly justified to repay your debt. If you don't hand over 100,000 silver coins, do you think I won't break your legs right here and now?" Shenmenxai was truly terrified. He knew that Liu Chengfeng was a brutal man that could do anything. He hurriedly said, I have the money." Shenmenxai quickly drew a purple pouch from his chest and handed it to Liu Chengfeng with trembling fingers. Liu Chengfeng opened the pouch and saw 30 spiritual crystals and a few hundred silver coins inside. He closed the pouch and kicked hard at Shenmenxai. "Where's the 100,000 silver coins?" There are clearly only 30,000 silver coins here. How dare you cheat me? I dare not. Those are all I have. It's everything I own. Shen Mengxai begged for mercy. Liu Chengfeng handed the pouch to Zhang Yuochen. Your Majesty, he only has this many silver coins. What do we do now? Zhang Yuochen accepted the purple pouch and glanced at Shen Mengxai. Understood. Liu Chengfeng seemed to understand Zhang Yuochen's thoughts. He nodded at him and walked towards Shen Mengxai with a wicked smile. Understand? What did you understand? I haven't even said anything yet. Zhang Yuochen was speechless. He looked towards Liu Chengfeng and wanted to know what he had understood. Liu Chengfeng believed that he had made a correct guess about Zhang Yuochen's thoughts. Thus, he stopped in front of Shen Mengxai and took away the genuine martial arms grade weapon on his back. This sword has 12 lines of inscriptions. It can be more or less considered a 4th class genuine martial arms weapon. I'll take 10,000 silver coins for it. Shen Mengxai cried. That's a 4th class genuine martial arms weapon and I spent 20,000 silver coins for it. Ah! Liu Chengfeng trampled on Shen Mengxai's hand again, and took his jade belt off. Sea stone jade belt, worth 800 silver coins. 2nd level genuine martial arms chest protecting mirror, worth 2,000 silver coins. Liu Chengfeng took away all of Shen Mengxai's treasures, even his clothing and shoes. We'll consider it 20,000 silver coins in total. You still owe the 9th prince 50,000 silver coins. You can write an IOU. Liu Chengfeng ripped off the last of Shen Mengxai's clothes and bit his forefinger, forcing him to write a bloody IOU. This was what he had understood. Zhang Yuochen found him both funny and annoying. No wonder Liu Chengfeng was considered brutal. His tactics were too extreme. He could only cite to himself that the wicked would be punished for their deeds. For people like Shen Mengxai, he would learn his lessons only when extreme methods were used. Tuo Xing, Prince of Square Commandery, looked extremely severe. Enough. 9th Prince, your methods are too extreme. Shen Mengxai is a warrior of Square Commandery. Even if he owes you 100,000 silver coins, how can you humiliate him like this? Zhang Yuochen felt puzzled. From the very beginning, it was Liu Chengfeng who was humiliating Shen Mengxai. Why did they pin the blame on him? Liu Chengfeng folded the IOU and handed it to Zhang Yuochen. He said in a low voice, Your Majesty, you should be careful. Prince Tuo Xing was a warrior of the Yellow Board when he was in the Yellow Realm. Now he has cultivated to the advanced stage of the Black Realm, and he wields an imperial weapon. He's a difficult and sly enemy. Zhang Yuochen naturally was not one to be afraid of conflicts. Taking a step forward, he said, Prince Tuo Xing, do you mean that only the Square Commandery warriors can humiliate the Yanwu warriors? Are we not allowed to retaliate? Prince Tuo Xing laughed coldly. The strong can naturally humiliate the weak. Zhang Yuochen smiled. Since it is so, then what's wrong with us humiliating a warrior of Square Commandery? Even if you're triumphant at this moment, so what? Tomorrow is the examination. I will return this humiliation with interest. This year, no warrior from Yanwu Commandery will successfully enter the school of the martial market. Prince Tuo Xing swept his gaze across the tens of Yanwu warriors opposite him with a cold huff. A cold gaze flashed through Prince Tuo Xing's eyes. He already had the intention to murder Zhang Yuochen. Afterwards, 2 warriors from Square Commandery carried Shen Mengxai away. Liu Chengfeng looked at the retreating warriors from Square Commandery and said, the situation doesn't look good. Looks like we'll be in great danger during the exam tomorrow. Zhang Yuochen asked, is killing allowed in the exam? Liu Chengfeng replied, on the surface, their warriors are of course not allowed to kill each other. But every year the first round of the examination takes place in Omen Ridge. Warriors from Square Commandery will definitely try and assassinate us. Standing on the side was Ziqian. Holding her battle sword, she watched the warriors from Square Commandery, and asked coldly, if they can try and kill us during the exam, why can't we return the favor? Zhang Yuochen turned slightly and glanced at Ziqian. He knew that Ziqian's cultivation was very high and she had already reached the dawn state of the Black Realm. But he did not expect that, as a woman, she would have such a hard side to her. It was rare to see. Liu Chengfeng chuckled and said, if you're willing to strike, you'll naturally be able to kill many of the square commandery warriors. Ziqian glanced at Liu Chengfeng and turned towards Zhang Yuochen. Ninth Prince, if you're willing to work with me, we'll definitely destroy the warriors from Square Commandery. All the humiliation Yanwu Commandery has suffered all these years should be returned. Ziqian wanted to assassinate Zhang Yuochen. Naturally, she had to get close to him and gain his trust. Only when she found Zhang Yuochen's secret would she have the chance to kill him. Zhang Yuochen looked like he was deep in thought. Liu Chengfeng once again inserted himself before Zhang Yuochen and Ziqian. Ladies, you shouldn't underestimate the young warriors from Square Commandery. According to reliable news, they have at least 3 strong warriors at the dawn state of the Black Realm, and at least 10 warriors in the advanced stage of the Black Realm. If you go head-to-head with them, it'd be like attacking a rock with an egg. Ziqian used her sword to push Liu Chengfeng to the side, appearing very cold. Looking at Zhang Yuochen with her beautiful eyes, she waited for him to speak. Zhang Yuochen rubbed his chin. Looking at Ziqian, he smiled. Since Lady Zi has such courage, I'll naturally accompany her to the end. Tomorrow on the examination field, it's time for Square Commandery to pay the price.